RingGangRadio.com. Take over. Last mission. Final boss mode. What it do?
Yeah, what's good, y'all? Welcome back to Ring Gang Radio, and we got a special edition NBA talk in the building. This is NBA. And of course, we never broke again, but that's a whole nother story. You know what I'm saying? But you know. I got a little different crew tonight. You know, I'm leading the charge. You know what I'm saying? Your boy King P, Bodega Box in the building. And you know what? Look at me. I'm the captain now. So, but I'm gonna introduce my boys tonight. Tell them who you repping. Who you got? Who you?
Alright, I'll go first, nigga. You already know who the fuck it is. It's your boy Rome, top 5 in the building. You already know, nigga. Basketball is in me. I already know this shit. I bleed this shit. We don't just do boxing, nigga. We worldwide with our shit. We league wide with our shit. You already know, Rome, nigga.
Hey, that's what's up, my guy Rome, top 5. We about to just open up his knowledge of basketball. You know what I'm saying? So you know he knows he got everything down. But you know what I'm saying? He knows basketball. You know, my man from Chicago. You know what I'm saying? He got to know something about ball coming from Chicago.
You feel me, nigga?
Yeah. But I got my other man with me. Speak up. Who you? Tell you.
I am Conscious Pilot, aka the West Coast Avenger, number 1 contender. You know what it is. Lift off, a little late flight, but we're going for July 4th to Ring Gang Radio. But we're talking about basketball. Ball is life. You know, I'm like the fourth ball brother because I'm the triple B. Bitches, basketball, boxing. You know what it is. But let's get it. Let's talk about this shit. Let's do it.
Hey, my guy, Conscious Pilot. He stay elevated. Late lift off, but you always gonna be here. So, you know what I'm saying? And happy 4th of July. We still got the fireworks all over the place. So, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna try to enjoy this night. So, let's get into it. We're gonna talk about basketball tonight. So, you know, finally, we reached it. The NBA Finals. We gonna have fun with this one. But
let's get into it, nigga. For the finals, we got motherfucking the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Phoenix Suns. Nigga.
Absolutely.
Who would have ever thought these two teams would be in a motherfucking NBA finals, nigga?
Absolutely, but we'll talk about that. Let's talk about how we got to this point. First off. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? Everybody had their opinions of who was gonna, you know, come into the finals. Who everybody thought was it gonna be the Lakers, like always? Well, maybe the Clippers, you know, coming out the West. You know what I'm saying? Everybody thought it was one of those two teams. You know what I'm saying? That those were the two favorites that everybody had. You know what I'm saying? You had other people but those were the two that people looked at it as a 2-man race, and everybody else was just, you know, catching up. But as we see, didn't end up like that. You know what I'm saying?
But it didn't end up like that because of hella injuries, my nigga.
Yeah, but I mean, it's what were you gonna say?
I'm agreeing. Yeah, injuries played a huge role. Definitely.
Absolutely.
Nigga, half the league is in the hospital right now, nigga. So that's why two of the teams that you didn't expect to even make it. First of all, come on, man. I don't even want to start, but two teams that you wouldn't expect to make it made it to the finals.
But I mean,
out of all of the heavy hitters,
but I mean, the Bucks
super teams.
So I mean, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it though. The Phoenix, everybody thought the Lakers were the favorites to come out the West, and then what happened? The first round, but I mean definitely the Clippers, but most people would have said the Lakers. More people said they were the top favorite, with the Clippers just trailing a little bit, but most people would say the Lakers. And what happened in the first round? They got bounce. Phoenix Suns. Nobody expected that.
But look, what happened though was, nigga, wasn't the Lakers up 2-1 until AD went down, and then what happened? Them niggas came back and beat them.
Robin Pilot?
I thought it was two. I think it was the Suns won the first game. Then I think the Lakers won 2 in a row.
Yep, and then
the Lakers were up 2-1, and then AD went down. And then the Suns just fucked them up.
Well, they wasn't.
Hold on. Didn't AD went down game? What game did he go down?
Pretty sure game 2. The Lakers won a game where LeBron went old school LeBron mode to win game 3 without AD. Then they brought AD back, and they got hurt. And it was over.
Yeah, so, I'm trying to remember. It feels like it was so long ago. My memory is not the best, but I remember he did play and they won game. Like the Suns, I think, beat them twice with AD playing. So I mean, and Chris Paul was hurt too. So I mean that played a part. So I mean, I don't want to say it was a wash, but both teams there were hurt.
I mean, I get it. Yeah, you could say that.
So, I mean, but in the end, it turned out to be the Phoenix Suns, which was a shocker. Then, second round, going up against the Denver Nuggets, and without Jamal Murray, that was their big.
You already knew that was a wash.
They had the MVP, this year's MVP, Nikola Jokic, but
with no guards.
The guards are trash. I mean, I always felt like MPJ is more of a second option legit than I like Murray. Like Murray plays tough and he has a good confidence, but he never made an All-Star team, never averaged 20 for his career. I always felt like Michael Porter Jr. would be a better second option, but
the funny thing is people talk about Jamal Murray being out, but Jamal Murray didn't play well when he played this year. Like that
he didn't play that well. Yeah.
That whole Nuggets team regressed. They regressed.
Let's be honest. All the Nuggets really are a threat in the playoffs. Like, you just gotta be on your shit when you play them, so you don't just get bounced by a team that's not gonna make the finals. Because with the team as they got now, they will never make the NBA Finals or beat a finals team or even win a Western Conference Final at all. Because they need more star power than just Jokic. Because Jamal Murray is a good player, but he's not a star. He's not Shaq and Kobe with Jokic.
Yeah, you had good complementary players in Will Barton, but Barton was hurt too, I believe.
Yeah, but the Aaron Gordon trade was horrible. Like Aaron Gordon didn't, produce like people thought he was going to, because he was, he's basically a poor man's Blake Griffin, and he didn't fit well with that team.
Yeah, and I expected more from, I've been a guy that's, that's looked at the potential of Aaron Gordon and said, he can be, a very good player, but I don't think he's ever going to live up to that potential. You know what I'm saying? Outside of the athleticism, he's a streaky shooter. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't play very good defense, and he just looked really, really. He looked probably the worst of any of the guys in Denver. Like he just did not fit. That's like and probably he was getting adjusted to Denver, but that it was just not a good fit there. And they traded two.
To be real, the Nuggets would have never beaten the Lakers nor the Suns anyway. So it was just a nice little first round, a nice little second round for them to cruise through. You feel me? And I feel like they got the upper hand. Honestly, they played a whole bunch of hurt teams, and their team, they've gelled with the same core group of niggas for years.
And then
they got the all-around team spirit.
Yep, and then the Western Conference Finals, it was the Suns and the Clippers, the other team that people thought, if the Lakers don't make it, the Clippers will. Yep. And then Kawhi got hurt. And that kind of just made everything just go upside down because Nobody thought they would do as well as they did without Kawhi. Because Kawhi got hurt in the second round. They still beat the Utah Jazz, but I mean, there was only so far you can go without Kawhi.
It's too much pressure with them niggas. Them niggas cannot handle the pressure, obviously.
There's two things I take away from that Clippers. Like, first, you got to put respect on Paul George's name. Like, I know he called himself Playoff P, but dude literally snapped his leg in half and still, became a top 10-ish player. And also, everybody used to shit on Ty Lue because there's, a lot of LeBron fans that try to do that, discredit everybody that's associated. But Ty Lue proved to me, because I thought Ty Lue was average, but Ty Lue proved to me that he's a damn good coach.
Yeah, I'd agree. Ty Lue definitely showed that he can coach. It's one of those things that like people look at the coach that like that LeBron has. It's like, oh, that guy's not that good of a coach. And you realize those guys like Eric Spoelstra. Eric Spoelstra is actually a pretty damn good coach, but he was getting a lot of flack when LeBron and company were there. It was just like Pat Riley.
That nigga made it to a finals with no Wade or Bron.
Pat Riley was not walking through that door.
Facts.
So, but I'm saying that. But back to the Suns and Clippers, it was a good matchup. Plus, Chris Paul was out with because of the COVID protocols, which is a whole bunch of craziness right there. But then once Chris Paul came back, it was a wrap. I had said, the Clippers still had a chance, while Chris Paul was out. And then, once they lost, it was game 3 that they choked away. I'm like, okay, yeah, they're done. So, and it was Suns in 6. So now they're in the Western Conference Final. So that nobody's expected the Suns to come out the West. Nobody. But here we are. Injuries be there.
We said a lot about the opponents, but to be honest, shout out to Suns. Them niggas worked hard all year. They came from being one of the worst teams in the league to being an NBA Finals contender.
11 years. They went 11 years without making the playoffs.
I'm happy for Monte Williams. Monte Williams, man, he been through.
Yeah, Monte Williams is a very good coach. I give him his credit. He definitely coach of the year material. He really is. Helped coach that team very well. And
you know how many 2Ks I had where I never picked the Phoenix Suns, nigga. You know how many? I haven't picked them niggas since they had Steve Nash and fucking Amari Stoudemire. You know how many years ago that was?
That was so long ago, bro.
Nigga, like, come on now. And them niggas didn't win a finals or make it to the finals.
You know what I'm saying?
And everybody talks shit about, Trae Young and Luka, which, it's a debate itself. But Ayton proved to me that he, was worthy of being the top. Really, I mean, he fits well, and arguably he's already a top 5 big man. Because
he really helps that front court defense. Like Ayton mans that thing. He's very well he plays very well defensively. Plus he can drop 20 on you offensively. He's a very good big man.
The only thing I have with him is I wish he was bigger, yo. If he was bigger, this nigga would be unstoppable. Like, he needs to put on a little bit of weight, keep the quickness, because I feel like at his weight he can still get bullied by a bigger, smaller, bigger but shorter guard or somebody.
He can guard threes. Like Gobert won Defensive Player of the Year, but Rudy Gobert shows why he's a liability. Like the guy Ayton, he's able to he won't get exposed. He's able to guard guys that he shouldn't be able to guard. That kind of helps him. But yeah, he should definitely
right. But if he put on size, he would get punished down low even more. Like, he could dominate.
That's true. That might be true. But the thing is, in this league, the NBA doesn't have a lot of big men that can really go down low and body you in the post. Like, it's now a long game.
Look at his game. Look at his game. His game is all 10 feet around the basket. Like, he should put on some weight and really fucking move 2 feet in and really dominate. Cause I didn't know this nigga was that great. Like, he was bodying Jokic. He's bodying every fucking body.
No, he's ball. Like,
I mean, coming out the draft, people compared him to they said he was very Patrick Ewing like.
Right. Like David Robinson, that's name. Yeah, I remember that.
Right. He got a little mid range too. The nigga's nice.
No, that team. I mean, I'm a Bulls fan, so I mean, I don't know, Roman. I was born in Illinois, so but Cam Payne, like that motherfucker was a bum. He was basically
That nigga didn't do shit for us.
the nigga was a weed carrier for Westbrook. He was the dance partner for Westbrook for years, and he showed me like, damn, he might get a bag. You know what I'm saying? And I play in 2K leagues, and Jay Crowder's always been a reliable guy I draft because Crowder, and then Mikal Bridges, he's going to be a nice two-way, defensive player. So that team with Monty, like they won 8 in the bubble straight. So I mean,
and Cam Johnson too. Cam Johnson is real solid. I like Cam Johnson. He showed he can ball. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So very good defensively, can shoot. The Suns have a lot of nice, like, it's not just Booker and Chris Paul. They have a lot of solid pieces around them. So, you know what I'm saying? They got a lot to work with. So, very well-rounded. Now, let's talk about the East. Now, the East was a little going in. The East was a little more open. Most people had, the Brooklyn Nets. I'm a Brooklyn Nets fan, so we had the Brooklyn Nets as the favorite. But some people said, well, could be Philly. Even some people thought Milwaukee. But some people thought Milwaukee. Some people thought Philadelphia. But it was everybody thought it was a 3-team race. And then Milwaukee, first off, they definitely beat the damn fireworks.
This nigga right on fucking the beach with the fireworks and shit, nigga. Goddamn, them niggas shooting in your crib. Goddamn, nigga.
They might as well be shooting my crib. But first, the first matchup, the first round, it's Milwaukee and Miami, the team that beat them last year, and people thought, we'll see what happens this year. And they swept them. They swept them. So that was they got the monkey off their back right there. They got the team that knocked them out last year, proved that they could play well in the play, and they looked great. And it
wasn't close. It wasn't close at all.
It wasn't close at all. They really looked like that was when I realized, okay, this team could be a threat. Like the way they just manhandled Miami. I mean, Miami, some people will say, well, Miami wasn't, they were fatigued, but you still got to, it is what it is. It's playoff time. So this is where people want to say, well, this is no different than the bubble because they started late and all the injuries. It's just like, it is what it is.
Yeah, but a ring's a ring, but it's kind of funny with the bubble argument, the bubble criticizers, because both teams that were in the finals from the bubble got bounced out in the first round. So it's kind of
exactly. So I love how that works, but you know what I'm saying? It is what it bees like that sometimes. So then round 2, you know what I'm saying? Milwaukee goes up against my Brooklyn Nets, and unfortunately, game 1, Harden gets hurt, and oh boy, things change. Then, we still taking it to Milwaukee, and then fucking Kyrie gets hurt. And after that,
it was a wrap after that.
Yeah, I mean, you got to give credit to KD. He showed how great he is because he really willed Brooklyn as far as they could go, just on him. But at the end, Game 7, it just came up short. It was just
but you got to think about this though. KD being as great as he was, remember, as great as Kevin Durant is, he couldn't do this when he was with OKC. He couldn't do it.
Nobody.
As great as he is, even though he got another great player with him, he still need another nigga because he is not he's a number 1, but he is not ball in the hand all the time type of player.
He's on a point. He's a traditional throwback bucket. He's the best. Like I'm a Kobe Jordan fan. He's the best.
You gotta swing it to him.
He fits within any. But KD fits within any system. That's the great thing about KD.
But the way he plays, he will never take a team nowhere just by himself and with other niggas.
Well, I don't think
he has to have other niggas with him.
But nobody does. Nobody has though. Really.
Nobody can. Like nobody can do it all by themselves. I hate this. Giannis didn't do it all by himself.
Giannis is doing it. Giannis did it by himself for the last fucking 6 years, yo.
Bro,
Stop fucking playing.
Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday and Brook Lopez are all stars.
And they were getting bounced out early. So like,
he's been the only nigga in Milwaukee for how long, yo? Don't play Giannis like that.
I'm not playing Giannis. He's. Let's be honest.
I was really on Giannis. I was like when he first, was kind of emerging, like 2 years before, I was like, he's gonna be top 10. He's gonna be a future MVP, and he's improved. Like besides Kawhi, he plays improved every year as good as he has. But I mean, like
let's be honest.
I listen to the podcast. Like every NBA player, Charles Barkley, when they won, KD, they all say Drew Holiday is the most underrated player in the game. So I mean, they have talent, but yeah, obviously.
But is he a number? Is Drew Holiday a number 2, like how James Harden is to KD?
No, him Middleton.
Let's be honest.
Is Middleton a number 2 like Kyrie? No, it's just Giannis. Let's stop playing.
Just because they're not number, but they're still surrounding cast members that help him. Middleton. I think he's kind of overpaid, and I think he's kind of he's you can't depend on him all the time. But he's come through. He has his game.
Okay. Think about it like this, nigga. If you had a team that had nobody but a couple rookies, couple second year players, right? And you threw Drew Holiday on that team, where is that team going? Shut up, nigga. Exactly. If you threw Chris Middleton on that team, where is that team going? Nowhere, nigga. But if you threw Giannis on that team,
but they're not number 1 guys. Like,
okay, but if you threw Kyrie on that team, do they have a chance? Yep. If you throw James Harden on that team, do they have a chance? Yep. If you
Kyrie was getting bounced out when he was in Cleveland before LeBron, so it's not like.
Okay, but I'm saying, you talking about how Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday is these top tier superstars, nigga? But they can never.
I never said that.
Not top tier superstars, but like you comparing them to James Harden with KD. It's not the same. These are elevated role players because they're playing in the moment.
Middleton's basically a top 3. Middleton's like on most teams will be a third option. Like I can't say nobody would agree he's better.
Exactly.
He's better than Klay Thompson.
But nobody's arguing that. Like nobody's arguing. But they're definitely complementary pieces that help Giannis. Giannis doesn't do it on his own. And let's get into it. In the Eastern Conference Finals, what happened? Giannis ended up getting hurt. And
and what happened the first game? Them niggas didn't know what to do.
No,
they didn't know what to do.
But Giannis played game 1. He didn't.
And they got blown out.
Yeah, but Giannis
they got blown out without Giannis. They didn't know what to do. Them niggas had to go back and practice the next day. Like, hold on, how do we play without Giannis? Then they came back and figured it out.
Yeah, I think
don't get it twisted.
No, but Giannis didn't get hurt game 1. Giannis played all of game 1. Giannis didn't get hurt until a couple games later.
But I will say, I think Coach Bud's the kind of he's a good regular season coach, but he's kind of been exposed by Nick Nurse the past couple years and like Brad Stevens. You know?
He's like a Kenny Atkinson. Like once you get to a team, if he's coaching a team that has to compete, he's not as good as when he's a good developer of like young talent, but when it comes to a ready-made team that's ready to compete, his style of coaching is awful. He hurts his team by default.
But look, just say this. You can be just say this. The Milwaukee Bucks got lucky because they're not supposed to be in the finals at all right now. It's supposed to be another year where Giannis got bounced. The cards fell in his favor, honestly. And he actually has a chance to sneak a finals out, but this is just a chance. It's 50-50. It's 50-50. This is just a chance though, because Giannis, that team is not a finals team. I don't give a fuck Drew Holiday. I don't give a fuck Brook Lopez. No, nigga, that Milwaukee Bucks team is not a finals team. Everybody's elevated because of the moment. But in the real light, nigga, none of them players. Phoenix is all right. Let's get to it, nigga. Matchups, nigga. Who we got?
Okay, and now for the finals. We are finally here. Tuesday it comes. We have the Phoenix Suns versus the Milwaukee Bucks. And this is going to be a very interesting finals because we don't even know when Giannis is coming back. Because Giannis hyperextended his knee. You know, we think he'll definitely play, but it's just a matter of when. He might not play game 1. He might maybe be back game 2 or game 3, but they're gonna need Giannis. If Giannis isn't there, you know, the more Giannis is out, the more their chances drop. Because he definitely is their top guy, so they're definitely gonna need him. But I'm assuming he is still going to play, but just a matter of when. So, what do we have for our predictions? How do we see this going? Rome, what you think? How you see this going?
Okay, how I see this one going, I see Chris Paul lighting up Drew Holiday's little ass, and I see Devin Booker toasting Chris Middleton's little ass, and I see Giannis scoring 40 points a night and struggling, trying to get a win out of his team that's not ready for a final. That's how I see this shit.
Sounds like you're not giving them much of a chance.
No, I give them a chance. I got it going 6 games, but that's just because the home team got to win a game, yo. If these niggas lose their home games, like, you know for a fact they didn't deserve to be in the final. If they lose both their home games, get the fuck out of here. Nigga, you can win as many games as you want in the regular season. It's the playoffs. Y'all niggas been here how many times? If y'all can't put all these home games out, y'all niggas need to rearrange that team, yo. Get Giannis out of there or get somebody else in there with him, because Middleton ain't it. And I promise you that. So how I got it 6 games. Phoenix takes it. Chris Paul is going to be the motherfucking MVP and get his first ring. Bro. That's what I got.
There we go. We heard it from Rome. You're confident about that statement. He said it with his chest. Said it with his chest. So we'll see. So we got
Suns in 6.
Suns in 6. How about you, Pilot? How you see it going?
Yeah, I ain't trying to be a swagger jacker, but I'm gonna rock with Rome top 5 and say Suns in 6. It really depends on Giannis because, you know, the Suns have a lot of guys they could throw at Giannis, but I just feel like game 2, game 3, depending on what game he comes back, is he going to KD himself when he, you know, come back in the finals and end up hurting himself? Obviously that plays a huge role. Either way, Suns are probably going to win. They just have, you know, a better collection of players, a better coach, I think, in my opinion. And I used to be a huge Chris Paul hater. I'm not going to lie. I used to like him and LeBron over the years. Like they've. I mean, obviously, I used to kind of be of a hater or whatever, talk that shit. But over the years, like, you know, CP3 definitely earned my respect as one of the top 5-ish point guards of all time. I think though they might try to push for Chris Paul to get the Finals MVP, but I feel like if they win it, I think D Book will probably deserve it. I think it could be either D Book, Booker or Chris Paul. But yeah, I mean, so I picked Suns in 6. You can't, you know, I wish Giannis was healthy for this, because I think if Giannis never had that knee injury and everything, you know, it could be a 7-game series, which it still could be, but I got to lean towards, Phoenix. I think it's going to be Chris Paul's coronation.
All right, interesting. So we got both guys saying Suns in 6. Now, I just want to add, I don't know how much stock you want to put into this, but the Suns and Bucks did play this twice in the regular season. They played twice. And both times the Suns won. Very close, but they still pulled it out. And Giannis, I think, averaged 40 points. Like he dropped 40 on them on the Suns.
He had to, so they didn't get blown out, nigga. That's the only reason. It was only close because he dropped 40. If he would have had a regular night and dropped 25, they would have got beat by 20 points. You see what I'm saying? The nigga doesn't have enough, yo. If he had another nigga that can, you know, go off and score 30, Middleton will go off for 30 maybe once every 40 games, but he's not doing that shit every night. Like, they could be Shaq and Kobe, but Middleton, he don't really put he's not assertive like that. He's not that type of player, yo.
Middleton came a long way.
he came a long way. He came a long way, but he used to be a fourth, fifth option on that team. Come in, hit threes in the corner. Now all of a sudden he's the second option because he's the only nigga left that's a vet on that team. Everybody else is gone. They shipped everybody out.
Like, I always remain the sentiment that I think he's truly a third option, because I can't say he's better than Klay Thompson, who's clearly a third option, second option. But I mean, if he shows out and he gives me 24, 25 a game, and I mean, then I'll put some respect on his name. I really should, but I'm not gonna say on most teams he's the second best player on a championship team in this day and age.
So what I'll say is,
hold on. I wish Brook Lopez and him would be on some Twin Towers shit and both of them get 30 apiece. But Brook Lopez only got one of them games in him. He ain't finna do that shit every night.
I mean, he should be on the inside. He shouldn't be on the outside all the time just shooting.
But look, once Giannis is in there, he's gonna float out because Giannis wants to draw that ball. He's not gonna be in the way.
I just don't like that. Like, we saw what you can do when Brook Lopez is actually in the paint against Atlanta, and how we saw old Nets Brook Lopez.
Nets Brook Lopez,
right? But he doesn't. He's good for a second unit, but he doesn't fit that first lineup because he can't be where Giannis is.
Well, Rome, you're talking about matchups, and the one matchup is I feel like Drew Holiday is I live in Seattle, so I'm gonna say it. He's like a poor man's Gary Payton. Drew Holiday is a great defender. He's a great
defender, yeah.
So you think he's gonna be able, is he gonna either Book or CP? He's gonna be able to lock up CP3 or Booker? Because one of those guys are gonna get free reign.
You gotta remember both of their shots is the fadeaway shot, which is an impossible shot to block most of the time. So
yeah,
that mid-range fadeaway shot. They hit it over 7-footers, so what is Drew Holiday gonna do?
Right. Shout out to the mid-range, because in the playoffs, mid-range still matters. Rest in peace, Kobe.
Yeah, that mid-range fadeaway and at the lower elbow, come on now, you can't stop that. And he's so fast, he pulls up, fades away. It's it's a wrap. Chris Paul is nasty with that, and so is Devin Booker, because he go both sides. Chris Paul always go to the right side of the court with his, but Devin Booker is fading away from the threes everywhere. That nigga is nasty with his shot. So I don't think they don't have. I mean, they got people to throw at them, but I don't know if they got enough scores to keep up with them.
I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see. What you got? Who you got, P?
Well, I was gonna say, so I did see that Giannis averaged 40 points against the Suns, but they held him to 40% shooting. So he was, wasn't as efficient, but I mean, I think that when it gets down to it, I think he's still going to get his. I think they'll try to give him different looks. They'll throw Crowder at him because Crowder has experience guarding him from when he was in Miami last year. So I can see them throwing everybody, Cam at him, Bridges. They're not going to completely contain him, but they're going to slow him down. And I'm sure even Ayton could help slow him down. So he's going to get his. It's just a matter of how everybody else are they going to get theirs? Which Middleton's going to show up? Which Holiday is going to show up? You know what I'm saying? That's going to really be more important because, and I think they'll have some, good games, but they might have some really stinkers.
You see that question you got to ask, though, nigga? If you got to ask that, which Giannis is going to show up regardless of what game 1, game 2, game 3. If you got to ask which Drew Holiday, you already know it's not reliable, nigga.
Well, but the thing is that, especially because remember, we're not expecting Giannis to play game 1. He might, but I mean, so they're gonna have to carry a bigger load. And they did it, they for the most part they did what they had to do against Atlanta. They showed that they can, but it's just a matter of will they keep that up? I don't see it. I just think that overall, I think that the Phoenix is more well-rounded. I think, Chris Paul, if I put Holiday on Paul, Paul doesn't need to score. Paul doesn't really need that. He can score, but he also, he can set people up. You know what I'm saying? He's a true floor general. So, you know what I'm saying? The guy you really want to lock down for scoring wise is Booker. but I mean, Booker has his nights where we know Booker can go off. You know what I'm saying? But it's going to be interesting to see what looks they throw at him, how well their defense is against the Suns, who can score like that. Their offense is just so they're volatile. When they're hot, they're hot. And I just think overall between those and their defense, like Phoenix has a very good defense. Their defense is very well. The team defense. So I think they're going to slow down the Milwaukee Bucks. I think we could see games. I could see us seeing games like what we saw against Milwaukee and Brooklyn, where teams just aren't getting their shots. Because that whole series was like that, where teams would get their shots, and then all of a sudden you'd go like a couple minutes, and everybody, neither team could buy a shot. So I could see that happening. But I think that overall, I think the Suns are the better team, and I think that the Suns were going to win in 5 games. 5 games. Because I don't see Giannis playing game 1, but maybe he comes back, and hopefully he doesn't re-injure himself, because those hyperextensions are a little tricky, especially if he's really pushing his body. So I go Suns in 5.
Gentlemen.
Gentleman sweep, yeah. So, I mean, we'll see. We could be wrong. The Bucks could pull off the shocker. And I'm sure either way, whichever team, gets it, I'm sure you're going to hear, because the narratives, it was easy, injuries. It is what it is. You can't really help that. I don't know. I'm not going to push that narrative because last year it was the bubble. Now it's something. There's always something. So it's why I don't like to listen to people, because these narratives that, especially when it's coming from certain people, depending on who your team is or who your favorite player is, or this person was injured. It doesn't count. Mickey Mouse ring. Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, basketball, we talk boxing all the time. Boxing's fucking, discussion's annoying. Football's annoying, but when it comes to basketball, it's the absolute worst, It's just the individualism of all these star players with so much visibility, and it's just, First Take ruins, it's entertaining for years, but First Take definitely ruined. Everybody trying to get off the hot take and be, the new Stephen A. and Skip Bayless, and it's God damn,
People just want to talk storylines and narratives instead of actual basketball. KD said it best.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, nothing's wrong with being a fan of certain players or whatever, but when you're just dick riding, not dick, dick riding, you're basically, trying to hate on one player to pick up another one. It's after Kobe died, especially, everybody deserves their flowers, man, especially, but
Absolutely. So, I mean, nobody expected this finals to end up, to get it. We didn't expect it to go this route. Nobody, the way we got here, nobody expected. Now let's see how it ends. We're almost there. We're down in the final stretch. And then, we'll see who gets their hand raised at the end. And I mean, personally, regardless of of who I'm picking to win, where my head is, my heart's also with Chris Paul, because I've always been a Chris Paul fan. So and this is really his final chance to really get that ring. So, you know what I'm saying? I feel like now how when I was rooting for the Mavericks, honestly, when they played the Heat, because I wanted Jason Kidd to get a ring. That was me. I wanted Jason Kidd to win a championship because he didn't win it with us, with the Nets. I'm like, you know what? I'd like to see him win in Dallas, and it happened.
A lot of Jason Kidd, Sean Marion, fucking Tyson Chandler. A few guys got like the Heat team back in 06 when they beat the Mavs. You had fucking Antoine Walker, Gary Payton, White Chocolate,
Dirk. Of course, Dirk.
Yeah, Dirk, of course.
You know what I'm saying? It could be. And see, and here's the interesting thing. I'm wondering if Milwaukee wins, if it will change the narrative like it did for Dallas and Dirk. Because people forget that Dallas run in 2011 and that playoffs changed the whole perception of that team and the whole perception of Dirk. Because it wasn't before, it never was lost on me that before that title run, that everybody looked at Dirk as a choker, as a guy that couldn't get it done in the playoffs. I mean, we saw him get bounced by the eighth seed. We saw
after winning the MVP, right?
Yes, he won the MVP that year and got swept by the Warriors in eighth seed. Every year they kept saying that Dirk was a choker and Dirk couldn't get it done. And then that just changed the whole narrative. Giannis, we've heard this for a little while. People said, Giannis, can't really get it done to play. Like people were comparing it kind of like what Harden was going through. You can't win with him in the playoffs. He can't get it done in the playoffs.
He can be a Robin on steroids, but he can't be a Superman. Basically,
yeah. So I mean, all it takes is one finals win, one nice run, and the whole perception of it will change. I'm sure that people will say, well, they would have never beaten a healthy Brooklyn, which I'd agree, but that's neither here or there.
Yep,
They can't help that. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't help that.
Yeah, Dirk's run was Dirk literally beat the young Thunder team, Kobe, the Spurs maybe, or and obviously the Heatles in their first years. But that's a Hakeem Olajuwon type run that no player, this day and age especially is gonna have with all the injuries of the superstars. Like that Dirk run was special, man. And he wasn't even in his prime because I was a little middle school 8th grader when it was obviously it was KG, Duncan, Webber, Dirk. Those were the 4 power forwards. But Dirk, that was Dirk past his prime, but it was perfect. He had the perfect team around him. Nobody expected, him to actually pull it off, but he did. And
yeah, absolutely. Those were the days. Those power forwards, man. Duncan, Dirk, KG. You know what I'm saying? They all got their rings. You know what I'm saying? No, Webber didn't get his, but that's a whole other story altogether. But, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. And I think that about wraps it up. You guys got any final thoughts? Any final thoughts, Pilot?
Happy July 4th to everybody. Tune in, obviously, if you can't listen to this, ringingradio.com, every platform, Google, search Ring Gang Radio, show that love. We show it back. We fuck with the culture, and you know what it is.
All right, that's what it is. Good shit, Pilot. Rome, got any final thoughts?
Who the fuck it is? Rome top 5. Do y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. You already know who the fuck it is. Rome top 5. I'm in the building. I can't wait for this finals, yo. Speaking of finals, everybody go stream my song, The Finals, on everywhere you look and listen to music. It's gonna be in the background of this shit. Fuck with me. But yeah, this gonna be a good finals. 2 scrappy, no-name team gonna get it in. We gonna see. We gonna see what's up. These niggas gonna get it all. Chris Paul finally gonna get a ring. Giannis finally gonna see that he needs another nigga besides Chris Middleton. We gonna see, nigga. But game one, I actually got Milwaukee though. I ain't gonna lie.
I mean, even though there's a possibility that Giannis might not play game 1.
Yeah. I feel like both teams are on a hot streak, but I feel like the size and strength of Milwaukee's gonna get to them in the first game, and then they're gonna be like, all right, let's buckle down on these niggas, and it's gonna be a wrap. But yeah, that's my final thoughts.
Okay.
Shout out everybody. Ring Gang, nigga.
All right, that's what's up. You heard it. You know what I'm saying? Top 5 in the building. Chicago's own. You know what I'm saying? Chicago always wins. So, you know what I'm saying? Mess with finals. You know what I'm saying? Go on Spotify, whatever. Fuck with Rome's shit. Finals. You know what I'm saying? And, all I got is, you know what I'm saying? I'm hoping it's a good series. Whoever wins, whoever wins or loses, I just want to see good basketball. I don't care about narratives. I don't care about, all that other shit, storylines. I just want to see good basketball. So, if the Suns pull it out, great. If Milwaukee pulls it out, great. I won't be salty at all. You know what I'm saying? We want to watch basketball. That's all. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? For myself, Rome top 5, and Conscious Pilot, it's always elevating above everybody. But you know what it is. It's Ring Gang Radio. Out.